Hey fellow space explorers, welcome to another build video. And here we have a ship designed for New Game Plus, which is optimized to be available relatively easily from the rather early game, and being capable of destroying all type of endgame ships relatively without much trouble. And as you can see, this ship absolutely can do that. It can destroy all those high-level varium ships, even though it's on the budget, as that was my goal, to make it available from relatively, I would say, accessible cost. You don't need to go for any particular ship to unlock. You just basically redo the frontier, and as you can see, it handles itself quite well. The power levels are really good. There is not the standard weapons installed in here, as even though I could install like the highest possible grade weapons, the goal was to make it accessible. So as I start playing New Game Plus, I earn the first credits, I can already go and install all the necessary stuff and redo it before the first important space fight, and I don't need to spend a lot of time catering up ship. There are perks required and high level required, but I am assuming that if you are playing a New Game Plus, you do have that. At least you should. If you don't, then that's a different story. But it's designed for New Game Plus, so it's all taken into consideration. And look at this beautiful damage output for just 160 credits. A little bit more if you don't have commerce skill. But I hope you do have commerce skill. And it even look good. I need to say, it's not an ugly creature. It does look good, and it's on a budget, unstandard weaponry, but the reason is power to value ratio. So basically value, power to cost, the value on the weapons. And value is there. You cannot make stronger ship for 160k credit from scratch. At least based on my calculations. So let's go into the build section. Before we start building our ultimate ship for New Game Plus, I did encounter some serious bugs when I was doing this build for the first time. So what I'm doing this time around to reduce the risk of this bug happening, hopefully it will work, I'm unassigning everyone from the crew before I start doing the build. Hopefully that will work. And the bug was really serious. My shield was like 10 times weaker than it's supposed to be when I finished the build, and I couldn't fix it. So then I'm switching to Frontier, and I will be using Frontier as well. I will select it as my home ship before I start build. I think this will help to reduce the risk of this bug occurring. Like, as you can see, the Frontier shield for me shows 496. That's a default shield, and it's boosted by my perk. So default is 310. Last time I finished the build, my total shield with the best possible shield installed was 400. With crew and buffs from perks. That was terrible. That was a disaster. I'm making this build with the builder in New Atlantis, so don't need to look far. Let's modify ships.
Okay. Nope.
I'm selecting Frontier as a home ship. First, taking a look on the shield, everything looks fine. So let's start building ship builder. And in case of this build, it will be a total redesign. So for first, we're removing everything. Now we are adding parts. Starting from a landing bay, and I'm going for a little upgrade that's not necessary, but I really like Deimos landing bay more than NG6 one, but somehow Nova Galactic doesn't look as good as the Deimos, so I'm going for a Deimos. That's a couple hundred credits, not really big difference. You can go with either one. Now I'm adding a hubs. I need 3 hubs in total for my needs, so it will be a Deimos all-in-one with passenger slots. I hope that's the one with a bedroom. I mean with the bed. Okay, it needs to move a little bit, align it like that. Then On the back, I'm adding one with workshops. It will be very handy. And on top, the one that I do not need to go into, just need to give me a crew capacity, crew stations. So this one goes on top, as there will be one ladder, but we don't need to go up there, so that's fine. Then we are adding the cockpit back in front, and to save on the cost, we are installing back Magellan C2 cockpit. We are not changing anything in this regard. Now we need a power for our ship, so we add it in here. And from the reactors, I'm going for the expensive one. Class B 104DS Mag inertial reactor. For the reason I don't want to upgrade it into the future, the 103DS Mag will be like the minimum required, and optimal will be DC 303 fast ignition reactor. But I want to go for the endgame option, as I will not be paying for upgrade anymore, and that's only 5k difference between DC 303 and 104DS. But level 60 is required to put this stuff, so keep that in mind. Then we are adding a grav drive, and I'm going for Helios 300 grav drive. It's 23 grav jump thrust, but I have a perk upgraded, so for me it will be enough to achieve 30 years, light years of travel. If you don't have a perk that upgrades a grav drive range, I would recommend to go for a higher range, but for me this one is absolutely enough. Then we are adding a docker on the bottom, and from the dockers there's one that will fit. It's 110 dp. This one can be installed on the bottom, no problem, so that's what we are going for. Next step, of course, we need a landing gear, and as well we are going for cost optimization. So we are going for the same gear as was here before, so this leg over there, the back leg in here, and other side we do the same. One leg in here, rear leg in here. That's installed. Now we cannot forget about the shield in case of this ship. We are going for Vanguard. The shield is the most important, especially on very hard difficulty, as you don't want to be running away and keeping a high distance all the time. You want to be able to just jump into the fight. So this one is strongly recommended by me. Of course, you will need to join Vanguard, but it's worth it. You basically need to join Vanguard to have optimal ship. Otherwise, you will need even more resources, more credits, and it will take more time than join Vanguard and do one mission for them. The same reason I'm not trying to steal or purchase any ship, as redoing Yo Frontier is cheaper and more time efficient. From this point we can already attach engines, and one will be here on the bottom, and in case of engines we are not trying to save too much as we need White Dwarf 3015. The 180 speed is really good for any ship, so we want to use that, we want to attach that. So one engine will go on the bottom and one engine need to go on the top, or we can, to be honest, streamline it a little bit. Put the shield on front like that, and this engine will look a little bit better if I put it in here. That's at least how I think it will be a little bit more streamlined. We are not going for a perfect look by no means, but it doesn't need to be necessarily extremely ugly. So let's go for that solution. And then we need some mounts for our weapons. So we're attaching, there is a perfect Nova mount in here in structural elements. This one gives a nice look as well as nice mounts for weapons. We add additional mounts on the side, and we are going for Nova wing ports, so this gives some character to the ship as well as nice place to attach your weapons. So we're adding those two wings in here. Look at that. It's not bad at all, and that's before even any paint and weapons. And now we are going for the weapons. It's important to attach weapons on the inside first of this mount. If you attach on the outside first, you are not able to attach anything on the inside. So if you want to optimize this point, attachment point first, let's go for the weapons. For the weapon we are going for Disruptor 3320 neutron beam, And there is a reason for that. It's class B and it's extremely cheap. Very good value per damage that it puts, as well as incredible range. Don't look at 5000, it's actually 3500. One of the perks is backed and displaying under those weapons for no good reason. So the range is 3500. And we can put 4 of those. The main reason we invested into this huge reactor is to be able to use regular neutron beams, as they do need to be fully powered to operate with full DPS, but the damage will be really good. And then we are adding additional disruptors, this time auto disruptors, and we are going back for disruptor auto electron beam class A as well. Cost efficiency, more than enough damage with all those weapons, and very cost efficient. So that's what we are going for. I will put those on the sides on front too. Auto electron beam, total of 4. And lastly, it can be a little bit of a surprise, the last weapon that we're attaching to the ship, as this will be Vanguard Hellfire Autocannon. There is a reason for that. The total DPS of this gun is insane compared to the cost. So it's only 2k each, and look at the damage values. It is great, even against shields, even those are cannons. Those cannons are doing really good. And maybe those on the back look a little bit goofy, and we still need 2 more attachments, so let's add wings in here. We can add 2 more wings and move those back cannons so it doesn't look like they shoot each other. I know it's not insanely important. They will work exactly the same. They just look better. Oh, they do actually not fit on top of the wing. Okay, that's surprise, so we move that around. Okay, we can fix that. We move those side around. So Vanguard cannons can be installed on here. More Vanguard cannons. It's probably even look better. 6 Vanguard cannons on the sides. And what I forgot to add, the fuel tank. So it either goes here on the back, or it can go here on the front when I put this shield now. Let me see how it will look like if I do it differently than last time and I put a tank in here. That's the one I want to use, 500T. It's very good fuel to weight ratio, so I want to use this one. Let's put it here. It will fit perfectly fine. Can I fit still shield on top of that? Oh, it will actually fit. So I want to keep it like that. Okay, I didn't try it last time I was doing it before recording. So I did some changes towards this version from the beginning, and now let's go through the flight check. I know I'm a little bit short on the credits. Before I save, I will need to get some extra credits, but what you need to do, of course, assign weapons, and I recommend on number 1 put regular, the neutron beam, the continuous weapon, then on number 2 auto electron beam, and lastly the Vanguard Hellfire Autocannon, because that's the shortest range of them all, but in the same time the highest damage of them all, and absolutely annihilates the hull of the ship. So we have disruptors to take down shields before we get close, and then autocannon to absolutely annihilate. And if you happen to be close to other ship when shields are still up, autocannon surprisingly do a solid damage to shields too. Comparable with Disruptor 3220 neutron beam. It's almost the same damage to shield, slightly lower, but much higher damage to the hull. So lack of range is compensated by incredible damage. I need to earn some extra credits, so I need to temporarily remove 1 cannon. Maybe 2. And I changed it a little bit. I went for more black and then some red. I think it's looked like a real war beast. It's like aggressive monster, ready to devour enemies. At this point, everything looks good, so I hope it's okay to assign my crew. Only the 3 crew members at this point. So I'm going with 4 free crew members. And now I will show you how it looks like on the inside. Real quick look. So as soon as we enter, there are nice beds. Then here you have a standard cockpit, nothing especially to see here. And then we go back.
I really don't. They shouldn't have traded planes.
There it is, all the workbenches, including research lab, because this particular piece of equipment gives you workbenches and a research lab. So there is a weapons bench, industrial bench, research lab, and spacesuit workbench. So that's all I really need on regular playthroughs. And there is upper section that you don't have a need to go to. There are crew sections. In case you want to see how it looks like, this is how it looks like, and your crew members are hanging out in here. And I would love if they will stay there, but they will wander everywhere. So thank you a lot for watching, and I hope you enjoy this build.